Across Europe rise the remnants of forgotten empires, built over lands shaped since the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century. Long before these towering walls became witnesses to the supernatural, people lived, worked, and fought here. Kings and queens, soldiers and servants, peasants and nobles, their lives echoing through these stone corridors in joy and fear. Now these towers that once reached for the heavens echo with prayers and screams. Behind every fortress wall lies a story of betrayal, blood, and restless souls that refuse to rest. Tonight, we open the gates to the 15 most haunted castles in Europe, where love turned to vengeance, rulers became phantoms, and time itself refuses to die. 15. Wolfsegg, alternate German, minor sites. In the old Gothic castle of Burg Wolfsegg in Germany, there is a local castle legend about a white lady haunting the place. Burg Wolfsegg is a wonderful old Gothic castle in Germany, built in the 15th century and still standing today in Bavaria. This majestic building was once home to German nobility and is one of the few castles that, over the years, never was destroyed and rebuilt. The walls still echo the tales of heroism, love and tragedy, financial trouble, and a possible murder. There are stories told around campfires about the haunted old castle, stories of ghosts that roam its corridors, and in the underground caves beneath the castle. At Wolfsegg, however, the White Lady is said to be a woman who died in the 1400s, basking in the sunlight, hiding in the shadows. Her dress is always white. 14. Castello di Groparello, Italy. According to tradition, around the mid-13th century, the lord of the castle, Pietrone da Cagnano, left the castle to go to war, leaving his wife, Rosania Fulgosio, alone. During his absence, Rosania is said to have resumed a relationship with a former lover, Lancelotto Anguissola, who was a captain, knight. When the lord returned, discovering the affair, the legend says he built a hidden underground room in the castle. He then invited Rosania to a banquet, sedated her or otherwise tricked her, and had her walled up alive in that secret room, hidden dungeon. She died of starvation or entombment. The room in which she was immured has never been found. It is said that on certain stormy or windy nights, you can still hear her cries for help or groans from the underground. Some visitors claim to have seen a faint figure of a young woman in a white dress wandering the halls or the park of the castle. 13. Horst Castle, Belgium. Castle of Horst, locally known as Kasteel van Horst, is located in Sint-Pietus Road, Belgium, northeast of the city of Brussels, in the province of Flemish Brabant, in the Flemish region. The ghost story of Horst Castle in Belgium centers on the legend of the Lord of Rode, one of its 15th century residents. Legend tells that he was a proud and cruel man, obsessed with power and gold. One stormy night, after betraying a loyal servant, he mysteriously vanished. Some claim he was dragged to the depths of the castle's moat, while others believe he struck a deal with the devil himself. On certain nights, when the moonlight touches the castle's reflection on the dark water, villagers swear they can see a ghostly rider on a white horse circling the grounds, his armor gleaming, his face hidden beneath a shadowed helm. Those brave enough to visit after dark tell of sudden chills, flickering lights in the empty halls, and the echo of footsteps following them, though no one is there. The castle of Horst stands silent now, its windows dark, a timeless sentinel of stone and legend. 12. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Perched high upon Castle Rock, Edinburgh Castle rises above Scotland's capital, a fortress with nearly 1,000 years of history and legend. Its stone walls have seen battles, royal coronations, and betrayals, but they've also held secrets and spirits that refuse to rest. They say the castle is one of the most haunted places in Scotland. visitors speak of sudden chills and ghostly whispers carried by the wind. The most famous spirit is the headless drummer, whose eerie beats are said to echo through the night whenever danger approaches the castle. Then there's the story of the lone bagpiper, sent centuries ago to explore the tunnels beneath the fortress. As he played to mark his way, the music suddenly stopped, and he was never seen again. On quiet nights, some still hear the faint sound of his bagpipes drifting through the stone walls. 11. Burg Eltz, Germany. A well-known fairy tale castle in Germany, but also included in haunted lists due to the legend of Agnes, who died defending the castle and whose spirit remains. But behind its peaceful beauty lies a story that has echoed through the centuries, the haunting legend of Countess Agnes of Eltz. According to legend, Countess Agnes lived in the castle during the 15th century. She was betrothed to a knight from a rival family, a union arranged for power rather than love. But Agnes was strong-willed and refused to marry a man she did not love. Humiliated, the knight later returned with soldiers to attack Burg Eltz and force her hand. As the battle raged around the castle walls, Agnes took up a sword and armor and fought bravely to defend her home. In the fight, she confronted the knight herself, and though she struck him down, she was mortally wounded. When the battle ended, her body was found with his dagger still in her chest. Today, visitors say that the spirit of Countess Agnes still lingers within the castle's ancient halls. In the quiet of the night, some claim to hear soft footsteps in the upper chambers or feel a cold breeze in the armory where her portrait still hangs, her eyes seeming to follow you wherever you go. Locals believe she remains not to haunt, but to protect her ancestral home, standing guard over Burg Eltz for all eternity. 10. Château de Chateaubriand, France. According to legend, the castle was home to Françoise de Foix, the beautiful wife of Jean de Laval and mistress of King Francis X of France. When Françoise began to lose the king's favor, she returned to her husband at Chateaubriand, but Jean de Laval, enraged by jealousy and humiliation, is said to have imprisoned her in her chamber. There she was slowly poisoned, her cries for help echoing through the halls until she died, heartbroken and betrayed. Françoise de Foix was a real person, the wife of Jean de Laval, Lord of Chateaubriand, and the mistress of King Francis I of France in the early 1500s. That's where the ghost story began. Since the 16th century, locals have claimed that every year on the anniversary of her death, October 16th, a ghostly procession appears inside the castle, dark figures carrying a coffin, followed by the spirit of Françoise de Foix, pale and silent, dressed in white or black. Many visitors and guards over the centuries have sworn they've felt a sudden chill or seen flickering lights on that night. 9. Houska Castle, Czech Republic. Deep in the dense forests of Bohemia, far from any town or trade route, stands a castle that seems to serve no earthly purpose. It's called Houska Castle, and for centuries it's been whispered that it wasn't built to keep invaders out, but to keep something else in. Legend says that long before the castle existed, there was a massive hole in the ground, so deep that no one could see its bottom. Locals called it the gateway to hell. At night, horrifying noises echoed from its depths, the flapping of giant wings, the howls of tortured souls, and the cries of creatures not of this world. Travelers often went missing near the pit, and those who returned spoke of dark figures with leathery wings crawling up from the abyss. When the pit's evil seemed unstoppable, a local ruler decided to seal it forever. In the 13th century, Houska Castle was built directly over the hole, its chapel placed precisely above the pit's mouth. The most chilling story from the castle's early days tells of a condemned prisoner offered a strange deal. If he agreed to be lowered into the pit and report what he saw, his sentence would be forgiven. Even today, visitors hear scratches beneath the chapel floor, shadowy figures roaming the halls, and the moans of something buried alive. 8. Dragsholm Castle, Denmark. In the quiet countryside of Denmark stands Dragsholm Castle, nearly 800 years old, and home to more than 100 ghosts. Among them, one story echoes louder than the rest, the tale of the White Lady. Centuries ago, she was the daughter of a nobleman who lived within these walls. She fell in love with a common stable boy, a love her father forbade. When he discovered their secret, he sealed her in her room, behind a wall of bricks, leaving her to die alone. For years, guests reported seeing a glowing white figure wandering the halls at night, her face pale, her gown torn, her presence filled with sorrow. Then, during renovations in the early 20th century, workers uncovered a skeleton in a white dress, still entombed inside the wall, exactly where the legend said she had been buried. Others say the castle is haunted by the Earl of Bothwell, imprisoned here until his death, his screams said to echo through the dungeon. Today, Dragsholm Castle is a luxury hotel, but guests still wake to footsteps, whispers, and the soft sobs of a woman searching for the lover she lost. 7. Prajama Castle, Slovenia. Carved into a sheer cliffside in Slovenia stands Prajama Castle, one of the most mysterious fortresses in Europe. Half stone, half mountain, it looks like it grew straight from the rock itself, and its dark history is just as haunting. In the 15th century, the castle was home to Erazem Lueger, a rebellious knight, part nobleman, part outlaw. He defied the emperor and took refuge in his mountaintop fortress, where secret tunnels let him smuggle in food and outsmart his enemies. One night, as Erazem used the castle's private toilet, a hidden signal was given, and a cannonball blasted through the wall, killing him instantly. Locals say his spirit never left. Visitors report cold winds rushing through sealed rooms, unseen footsteps echoing in the tunnels, and angry whispers near the spot of his death. Even today, Prajama Castle stands frozen in time, a fortress built into stone, still guarded by the ghost of the knight who dared to laugh at death itself. 6. Corvin Castle, Romania. High in the dark heart of Transylvania stands Corvin Castle, a fortress of blood and legend. Its towering spires pierce the mist, its stone walls whisper the cries of centuries past. Built in the 15th century by John Hunyadi, Corvin Castle was meant to symbolize power, but it became a tomb for the forgotten. They say Vlad the Impaler, the real Dracula, was once chained here. Driven mad by isolation, his fury seeped into the very stones, and even now visitors feel an icy presence watching from the dungeons. But the castle's most tragic tale belongs to 3 Turkish prisoners. Promised their freedom if they could dig a well through solid rock, they labored for 15 years, driven by hope and despair. When they finally struck water, their captors betrayed them, and their last words were carved into the wall. "You have water, but no soul." The well still stands. At night, the air turns cold around it. Corvin Castle isn't just haunted by ghosts, it's haunted by the sins of men, and in its halls of echoing iron and sorrow, the past is still alive. 5. Charleville Castle, Ireland. Charleville Castle in Ireland has one of the most well-known and chilling ghost stories in the list. Deep within the oak forests of County Offaly stands Charleville Castle, a Gothic masterpiece built in the early 19th century, and believed to be one of Ireland's most haunted places. The castle's most famous ghost is that of Harriet, the young daughter of the 3rd Earl of Charleville. In 1861, while playing on the grand spiral staircase, Harriet tragically fell to her death. Since then, countless visitors and staff have reported hearing her laughter and footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, especially near the staircase where she died. Some have even seen the apparition of a little girl in a blue dress, appearing for just a moment before vanishing into thin air. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained voices and cold spots, and many claim that Harriet's playful spirit still roams the castle, sometimes giggling, sometimes crying, forever replaying the moment of her fall. Beyond her story, others say the castle carries a heavy, restless energy, as if the walls themselves remember every joy and tragedy that has ever passed through them. 4. Ballygally Castle, Northern Ireland. Overlooking the wild Antrim coast, Ballygally Castle dates back to the 17th century, a beautiful seaside fortress with a chilling past. Its most famous ghost is Lady Isabella Shaw, the wife of Lord James Shaw, the castle's original owner. According to legend, Lady Isabella gave birth to a son, but her husband wanted a male heir so desperately that when the child was born, he took the baby from her and locked her in a tower room. Heartbroken and desperate, Isabella tried to escape through a window to reach her child, but she fell to her death on the rocks below. Ever since, her spirit has never left the castle. Guests and staff have reported knocking on doors in the night, cold spots, and the gentle sound of a woman crying in the tower. Some visitors say they've even seen a pale woman in a flowing gown standing by the window, the same one she fell from centuries ago. Unlike many ghost tales, though, Lady Isabella's spirit is said to be peaceful, as if she's simply searching for the child she lost long ago. Today, Ballygally Castle is a hotel, and one of the few in the world that openly admits it has a resident ghost. 3. Hermitage Castle, Scotland. Hermitage Castle, standing in the lonely Liddesdale Valley of the Scottish borders, is one of Scotland's darkest and most mysterious strongholds, a place where history and legend blend into ghostly tales. The castle has long been called the guardhouse of the bloodiest valley in Britain. Its thick, grim stone walls once echoed with the sounds of battle, betrayal, and whispered plots. Today, they echo only with the wind, and some say the voices of the dead. The most famous ghostly legend connected to Hermitage Castle is that of Sir William de Soulis, one of its early lords. De Soulis was accused of dark sorcery and of conspiring against King Robert the Bruce. According to folklore, he practiced black magic and was attended by a familiar spirit named Robin Redcap, a malevolent goblin said to demand human sacrifice. The story claims that the people of Liddesdale, terrified of his cruelty, rose against him. De Soulis was captured and, by royal order, executed in a most gruesome way, boiled alive in molten lead near the castle walls. Though historians doubt the truth of this tale, locals insist that on stormy nights, the tormented spirit of William de Soulis can still be seen wandering the ruins. Some claim to hear the clanking of chains, the echo of screams, or the low, mournful chanting of spells lost to time. It's easy to believe that the ghosts of its grim past have never truly left. 2. Château de Brissac, France. Hidden in the heart of France's Loire Valley stands the Château de Brissac, a place of beauty, grandeur, and ghostly sorrow. Centuries ago, Charlotte de Brissac, known as the Green Lady, lived here. Married to Jacques de Brissac, her life seemed charmed, until one night her husband discovered her secret affair. In a violent rage, he murdered Charlotte and her lover within the castle walls. Since that night, the Green Lady has never left. Visitors say she still roams the halls in her flowing emerald gown, her face pale, her eyes hollow. Late at night, you might hear her soft sobs or the rustle of silk brushing past in an empty corridor. By day, Château de Brissac shines with elegance, but when darkness falls, her spirit awakens, forever haunting the castle she once called home. 1. Sirach Castle, Hungary. Legend says the castle is haunted by the spirit of a Turkish pasha's daughter, who once fell in love with a Hungarian soldier during the Ottoman occupation. Their forbidden romance ended in tragedy when her father discovered the affair. The soldier was executed, and the heartbroken girl was locked away within the castle, where she soon died of sorrow. Locals claim that on moonlit nights, a woman in white can be seen wandering the ruins, her ghostly figure gliding through the mist, still searching for her lost love. Today, Hermitage Castle stands silent and broken, but as the wind sweeps through its ancient stones, it carries the echo of her story, a love that even death could not destroy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe this channel for more informatic stories.